Good morning, Bates College. Please be seated. What a genuinely great day to be a Bobcat. I have to tell you, you all are a sight for sore eyes. After a relatively quiet summer on our campus, we are now full of students, staff, and faculty once again, and it's spectacular. I'm Garry Jenkins, the 9th president of Bates College. My pronouns are he and him. And I'm so glad that you all are here and ready to greet the new academic year at Bates. If you are new to Bates, welcome. If you are returning or a continuing member of our community, welcome back. I want to offer, in particular, a special welcome to our newest students. Welcome home. We are so pleased that you have decided to join our Bates community, and we look forward to seeing all that you will do in the months and years ahead. Not just what you will accomplish, though we know you will have countless wonderful triumphs in our classrooms, in our performance spaces, on our athletic courts and fields, and beyond, but also how you will connect, how you will contribute in ways that strengthen this college community. Also, a warm welcome to our new faculty colleagues who join us here at Bates. Special greetings to you all, and we look forward to the ways that you will enrich our intellectual community. Now, this ceremony, our opening convocation, is the formal induction of our newest students into our incredible Bates community. So let me give you the outline for the program today. I will offer a few words, and the class of 2029 and our new transfer students will then be welcomed by your student government co-presidents, Zachariah Richards and Mohammad Zayd. Zach is a member of the class of 2026. He hails from Princeton, Massachusetts. He is majoring in politics and economics. In addition to serving as a BSCG co-president, he is co-president of club volleyball, a residence life team leader, a writing tutor, and treasurer for Model UN. Mohammad is a neuroscience major from the Bronx, New York, and a member of the class of 2027. He is a STEM scholar, a biology neuroscience research assistant, a students in admissions coordinator, a student academic support center peer tutor, and a board member for the South Asian Students Association and the Muslim Student Association. Following their remarks, we will have the convocation address, delivered by the wonderful and esteemed Rebecca Herzig, the Charles A. Dana Professor of Gender and Sexuality Studies. The convocation speaker is chosen by the outgoing senior class as a gift to the incoming first-year class, and Professor Herzig was the choice of the class of 2025 for the class of 2029. Professor Herzig joined the Bates faculty in 1998 as the college's first full-time faculty member in the program then called Women's Studies. A scholar in the field of science and technology studies, she is the author, editor, or series editor of 16 books, including Suffering for Science, Reason and Sacrifice in Modern America. Her writing on science, technology, and medicine in American higher education, it's the subject of her current book project, and it can be found, or her publications, her essays can be found in numerous publications, including Liberal Education, Feminist Studies, and the Minnesota Review. Here at Bates, she teaches courses cross-listed in multiple departments and programs, including Blood Genes and the American Culture, and Technology in U.S. History. Perhaps most important, in the winter of 2010, she chaired the 16-person committee of alumni, staff, faculty, and students who together developed the college's powerful mission statement, which you'll hear me talk about more in a moment. We look forward to hearing her today. Thank you, Professor Herzig. And then finally, at the end of the ceremony, Raymond Clothier, our interim multi-faith chaplain, will lead us in a benediction, after which we will march out as we marched in, led by the mace bearer and our faculty marshals. There will then be a brief tree planting ceremony honoring those members of our community who have died during the past year. We will gather on the College Street side of Gomes Chapel, so just across the quad, for those of you who wish to join us. So I would like to take this opportunity to just say a few words about how I'm thinking about Bates, the current moment, and the year ahead. We are all aware of the challenges of the current moment, challenges to democracy and our institutions, to personal freedoms and democratic norms, to fundamental rights, challenges to our sense of unity, challenges to the ability of individuals to disagree, or sometimes even just converse with respect and civility, and to find points of commonality in spite of our differences or disagreement. When we lose these critically important core values, our democratic commitments, our liberties, our ability to live in community, we are diminished. We are ourselves lost. But here at Bates, we are rooted in those same values. They drive all that we do. Think of the very point of entry for every Bates student, the admissions process. Some of you may have read this on our admissions website, but we say Bates's unique personality rests on the bedrock values of academic excellence, diversity, inclusivity, and social responsibility. So we look for students who embrace those values, who show promise to develop them during their time on our campus, who will make our college even better and stronger through their presence, and then go on to make a difference in the world. And we know that it's not just one type or kind of student who will make a great Batesy. It takes all different types of students from a range of backgrounds with a broad spectrum of experiences to make up a class and to make Bates the place we are so proud that it is. The same is true for faculty and administrative staff that we hire. So from the very beginning, we are always looking to expand, to enrich, and energize this community and this college. It's not only in our admissions materials, it's in our mission statement. Now, some of you have heard this ad nauseum, but it's worth hearing again on an occasion such as this, I think. It reads, since 1855, Bates College has been dedicated to the emancipating potential of the liberal arts. Bates educates the whole person through creative and rigorous scholarship and a collaborative residential community. With ardor and devotion, amore ac studio, we engage the transformative power of our differences, cultivating intellectual discovery and informed civic action. preparing leaders sustained by a love of learning and a commitment to responsible stewardship to the wider world, Bates is a college for the coming times. There are so many compelling and beautiful pieces of that mission statement, but for now, I draw your attention to the phrase, the transformative power of our differences. Remember this. This phrase defines Bates. It guides us. At its heart, we are talking about pluralism here. Now, pluralism has been defined by scholars in a variety of fields, in a variety of ways. But pluralism at its core is the idea that multiple perspectives, ideas, approaches, groups, ways of life can coexist and make society stronger rather than weaker. Pluralism recognizes that our differences, when engaged respectfully, lead to a richness, opportunities for collaboration, to a freedom, to the flourishing of the potential for all. And of course, we didn't invent pluralism here at Bates, but I do think that we embrace it. We do it. We talk about it, perhaps even better than most. Now, a small residential college experience is also designed to embrace pluralism. Our communities thrive not despite diversity of thought and culture, but because of it. Through exchanges, both in and outside of the classroom, in late night conversations in dorms that you're gonna have over pizza, in the exchanges and histories and values, we build empathy and move from rigid thinking to nuanced discernment. Also, the liberal arts, when you think about them, it too is a pluralistic ideal. Now, don't let me shock any of the newest among you by stating plainly that in making the decision to join a liberal arts college, you have signed up for not a narrow exposure to one area of study or one point of view, but for an experience in a breadth of disciplines, philosophies, questions, and perspectives that will help you better understand and contribute to the world around you. Promoting critical thinking and analysis and fostering independent thought, this is the liberal arts project, stretching back to the ancient world and extending to today. A liberal arts education is designed to create informed, independent, contributing members of democratic societies. Now, this is also the American project, at its best, at its idealized, if not always realized. Let me be completely clear. I'm not going to stand here and tell you that the founding fathers, all of them white men, many of them slave owners, were models of inclusive thinking. But they produced the foundational documents of the republic we live in today, which have several virtues. And they laid a foundation with a unique proliferation of voluntary associations, crafting a pluralistic civil society. As many of you know, I studied nonprofit organizations as a scholar, so I'm particularly interested in the impact and power of our voluntary associations. And Federalist number 10, the union as a safeguard against domestic faction and insurrection, James Madison wrote about cultivating an expansive society where people holding a range of views would live together and have the same degree of freedom and right to a diverse range of views. Extend the sphere, he wrote, advocating for a greater variety of parties and interests. Several decades later, Alexis de Tocqueville would famously marvel at the myriad ways Americans would organize themselves and associate with one another, and how well this served democracy. He wrote, "Americans of all ages, all conditions, all minds constantly unite. Not only do they have commercial and industrial associations in which all take part, but they also have 1,000 other kinds: religious, moral, grave, feudal, very general and very particular, immense and very small." The art of association that Tocqueville observed represented a wide range of differing organizations, each with their own mission, approaches, and constituencies, apart from both government and majority opinion, coexisting civilly, enhancing and sustaining democratic governance. All of which is just to say that when we talk about the Bates mission of engaging the transformative power of our differences, we are talking not just about our current priorities, but we're also calling on our college's history, the liberal arts tradition, and I would argue the founding ideals of our nation. Welcoming, celebrating, and cultivating a range of perspectives and experiences is what we do here. It's what's expected of us. And frankly, we are among the best at doing it. We are not perfect, but we are surely among the best. But it takes all of us to do this work, to sustain this pluralistic community. It takes openness and respect for everyone and a generosity of spirit. It takes care and trust and goodwill. It takes all of us wanting to do better, to be better. It's a never-ending project, but there's joy to be found in the effort. And I know that all of you are up to that task. We certainly need it throughout our nation, in our communities, and here on our campus too. Thank you. I'm going to stop here, keep the program moving. I know our colleagues some of us are in the shade, but not everyone. So let me stop here and turn the mic over to my fellow speakers. But class of 2029, first, I'm going to end, as has become my tradition, with 4 core words of advice that I once received from my mom at the start of college. So this is for you. From Leslie. As you launch into your Bates experience, just remember this: learn, care, share, and enjoy. Now, please join me in welcoming your BCSG co-presidents, Zach and Mohammad, followed by Professor Herzig.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, President Jenkins, for that warm welcome. Members of the faculty, staff, families, new students and old, and of course, the class of 2029. Salam, namaste, and welcome. We're delighted to be a part of your special day and welcoming you all on your Bates journey. My name is Mohammad Zayd.
And my name is Zach Richards. We are your student government co-presidents, and we are honored to welcome you to Bates.
We are especially grateful to share this milestone with you because we were once on the other side of this mic, sitting in your seats, wondering what the next 4 years has in store. It's natural to be excited, but it's also natural to be nervous. So I encourage you to pause, even just for a second, and take it all in. It was a long journey to be where you are now, so celebrate this moment. While this day may only resemble a starting line for you, it also represents your dedication and hard work to get here. Cherish this moment as the foundation for all that is yet to come, because there is something powerful in grounding yourself, in acknowledging the path ahead and cherishing the present as the cornerstone of your journey.
We know that you're all eager to start your 8 a.m. classes and long nights in Lad Library, but take a moment now to look backward instead of forward. Congratulate yourself and celebrate the work you've put into reaching this next milestone. Reflect on the support you've received from your family, friends, teachers, and coaches, whether it was having an extra pair of eyes going over your Common App essay, or all the work your loved ones have put into nurturing your academic, athletic, and extracurricular interests. As you begin your journey at Bates, we'd like to share some advice and lessons we've learned during our time as students so far.
Talk to anyone and everyone. Introduce yourself to someone you see all the time in your dorm. Talk to a classmate. Say hi to Mark from Campus Safety or Brad from Commons. This will be the start of a new friendship. You will soon come to see that Bates is a community grounded in collective support. Make it a priority to form relationships with people from all across campus. Our community is filled with brilliant, welcoming, interesting people whom you may not have gotten to know if you've never branched out. You will meet upperclassmen ready to guide you through personal pursuits and foster a spirit of compassion for one another. Embrace it. Raise questions, be curious, ask for help, collect the collective effervescence. At its core, Bates seeks to empower you to become the best version of yourself, the version you aspire to be.
During your time at Bates, you'll soon find that some of your most meaningful learning happens outside of the classroom. Talk to a professor after class or during office hours to ask a burning question or get clarification on a new topic. With a student-faculty ratio of 10 to 1, you'll have plenty of opportunities to get support from professors and form genuine relationships that can span beyond your time at Bates. Take advantage of the Student Academic Support Center and the Student Writing and Language Center, as well as the numerous student and faculty teaching assistants. With these resources, you'll realize what a collaborative learning environment Bates is.
Like Zach said, you will find that learning isn't just restricted to the classroom. Use Bates as a tool to better yourself, not only as a student, but as a person. Try things you didn't before just because you can. Don't be afraid to say yes. Sign up for that club, audition for that musical, attend that performance. Take a class outside of your major. Reach for discomfort, for here is where growth begins. Embrace the opportunities this community has to offer, for within them lies the potential for incredible personal and intellectual growth.
The Bates campus has a vibrant array of clubs, sports, and other extracurriculars that will keep you engaged, but all this activity occurs in the context of the Twin Cities of Lewiston and Auburn, both of which have a historic relationship with our college. As you think about ways to get involved on campus in the coming months, we encourage you to look for the numerous opportunities you have to get involved with our greater Lewiston-Auburn community. Whether it's connecting with Bates resources such as the Harvard Center or the Aspirations Club, or even just taking a walk down Lisbon Street to explore local businesses and restaurants, you'll gain valuable experiences and form meaningful connections that will come to define your time here at Bates.
Now, we would like to take a moment to pause and express our gratitude to all those who made your transition to Bates possible. So many moving parts for months now led to where you are now. So from the campus life and res life staff to your orientation week leaders to the ASOP leaders, your efforts have not gone unnoticed. Thank you. Additionally, we are equally grateful to the many students, staff, faculty, and families working tirelessly behind the scenes, especially our incredible commons and facilities staff. Your efforts are absolutely deserving of gratitude.
As we wrap up orientation and prepare for the many weeks ahead, we hope that we've been able to convey all of the joy, learning, and opportunities that await you. We're excited to have you join our community, and we can't wait to see how you will make Bates your home. Congratulations again to all new students, families, and friends, and welcome to your first year at Bates.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Zach and Mohammad, for your wonderful welcome, and thank you, President Jenkins, for your kind introduction and for your very timely remarks. I'd like to thank everybody else here gathered on the lawn for showing up on this gorgeous and unexpectedly eventful day. As you may have heard, there's been a water main break out on Alumni Walk, and there are folks out there now working very diligently to fix it. For me, it's given me a chance to thank the water main for reminding us of the importance of unimpeded access to the bathrooms that you may need. So, thanks too to the innumerable people near and far, Zach and Mohammad alluded to, whose efforts make it possible for us to gather here this morning. I'm thinking especially of the crew from Public Works and from Campus Facilities getting our water back. Along with gratitude, let me offer my warmest, most heartfelt welcome to every member of the class of 2029. We're all so glad that you're here and so eager to learn from and with you. An equally enthusiastic welcome to the 42 incoming members of the faculty. Hello, I'm looking forward to getting to know you too. I'm especially grateful to all those new faculty and staff and students who've crossed international borders to be here with us now. Welcome. And as a resident, long-term resident of Lewiston, I'd like to welcome you to this strong, vibrantly multicultural city. Among those faculty traveling here from abroad, a very special welcome to economist Dr. Joanne Roberts, the college's new Dean of Faculty. Joanne, one of your predecessors in the role, Professor Carl Straub, often would begin his public remarks by describing Bates as a place of memory and hope. May this place be rich in memory and hope for you and your family. I'm going to center my remarks on hope this morning, actually, starting with this place, the one place that I can be sure that all of us gathered here have in common. Just steps away from here, over on the athletic field off of Campus Avenue, there is currently a big garnet banner hanging along the fence on one side. You might have seen it if you're on the field hockey team. The banner reads in very large print, "Fight on for Bates," a phrase that comes, as it turns out, from a college song written by a member of the class of 1955. Most mornings this past summer, before I went to work, I'd go by that banner over and over as I jogged in slow circles around the edge of the field. The spongy turf is easier on middle-aged knees than the city sidewalks. And as I did, I'd wonder, what does it mean to fight for Bates, beyond the perfectly admirable goal of scoring more points than the other side in a particular game? And who's doing the fighting? The questions kept looping in my mind for two reasons. First, because, well, a fight is plainly on. A fight for pretty much everything I hold dear as an educator and as a person. Second, because fighting can take a lot of energy, and I often felt tired out as I jogged around the field. Less from those slow little loops than from simply being alive today, bearing witness to so much suffering, fire and flood, famine and war, and seemingly bottomless cruelty and greed. I was therefore relieved when I encountered a recent essay by two scholars in my field, Jennifer Nash and Samantha Pinto, which encouraged more frank acknowledgement of, quote, the exhaustion that is part of enduring in terrible times. Nash and Pinto call on academics, like me, to offer more what they call theory forged in the bathrobe. I love that. So while you see me dressed in formal regalia this morning, I'm leaning into the bathrobe concept, which in my case usually involves comfortable sweatpants instead. Fortunately, the capacity to fight for what matters, the capacity for hope, does not depend on wardrobe. It's not even constrained by one's actual circumstances. As the poet Václav Havel once observed while imprisoned by his government for nonviolent political opposition. Hope, Havel said, is a state of mind, not a state of the world. Even more fortunately, you and I now share the exquisite privilege of being in a place actually engineered to transform states of mind. It could even be called, in honor of our water main this morning, an infrastructure of hope. By that I mean, first of all, a small residential liberal arts college, a kind of higher education once known as the American model. I'll loop back later to talk about Bates more specifically. This model I didn't understand when I left my working class community to go to college at 18, is very, very rare. Under 4% of all undergraduates in the United States attend small liberal arts colleges like this. They do, as President Jenkins alluded to, focus on broad curricula rather than specific vocational skills, and on close, enduring relationships between mentors and students rather than on mass credentialing. More to the point, this model of education I want to suggest this morning is uniquely well suited to help people live in and through difficult times. Why? Well, to be clear, not because small colleges possess some inherent moral virtue. Just for starters, every single one in America was founded on indigenous land, and we could go on from there. Rather, because small residential colleges were designed to nurture shifts in thinking, that is, to cultivate hope. The plan, evident all around us, was to produce continuous, almost kaleidoscopic immersion in mind-altering places, libraries, laboratories, classrooms, dormitories, chapels, tree-lined quads. These places were also designed to attract dynamic people with wide-ranging capacities and interests who grasp their or our engagement with one another as fundamental to the success of the whole model. And it's worked, this model, year after year, establishing the conditions, as the illustrious Bates alum Dr. Benjamin Mays put it so eloquently, for people to emancipate themselves. Indeed, the model's worked so well that right now, a number of different companies are racing to figure out how to reproduce all of this online in entirely virtual spaces. I visited some of those experimental virtual realities as part of my current research project. Or more precisely, my avatar visited while I lay on the couch in my comfy sweats. There, I heard experts debate how best to replicate the intimacy and the serendipity of this small college model in wholly digital environments. How to nudge an online learner to, say, bump into their instructor's avatar while they're playing digital frisbee on a digital lawn. In short, they're laboring to make the next generation of online education look and smell and sound a whole lot like this, right here. This fascinates me because, bear with me here, I'm gonna nerd out. Educational institutions have always been essentially virtual, comprised by our collective imagination. Now, they have physical form, of course. There are sundials and ferns and chairs and so on. But unlike those discrete physical objects, what makes a college in the end, rather than just an assortment of buildings or a group of individuals who happen to be on the grass at the same time, is our tacit acceptance of the idea that binds us together, Bates in this case. An institution is, to an occasionally shocking extent, nothing really other than that, a persistent structure of shared norms and rules and beliefs. And as countless researchers have demonstrated, these shared structures are precisely what processes of digitalization are actively dissolving. I don't think I'm telling you anything you don't know at this point. Shared understanding of the physical spaces we inhabit, this lawn, these chairs, those buildings, already divided by our respective social locations, grows increasingly thin, further eroded by the personalized streams now funneled through each of our individual devices. So what are collective norms going to look like moving forward? What collective norms are going to bind institutions together? What shared ideas, shared commitments are going to hold this college together? What does it mean to fight for Bates? In case you've been wondering all along, yes, I did try posing that question to AI. The chatbot, the same one currently installed on every digital workspace at the college, first glazed me a little bit, the way that they're programmed to do. That's an excellent question. Why, thank you. Before feeding me chunks of the college mission statement that's printed on the back of your programs this morning. In other words, the chatbot looped me back to the same statement that, as President Jenkins noted, I worked with a bunch of other people to craft 15 years ago. I take from this that, for the moment at least, artificial intelligence remains an engine of memory rather than an engine of hope. Large language models, powerful as they may be, cannot resolve the collective issue at hand. What is worth fighting for? What are we fighting for? Only people can do that in relationships, as members of a class, a team, a musical ensemble, a faculty committee, a college. Only we can do that, connected to all those who have come before us and will come after us. Which brings me, finally, to why I feel so fortunate to be doing that work here, in this particular place. When Orrin Cheney decided to leave his paid job as a minister to take on the then unpaid work of founding this institution, he understood that the principles he was espousing of higher learning not restricted by students' race, sex, or ability to pay ran counter to what other colleges were doing at the time, our so-called peer institutions. It is a fact, a painful fact, that those lofty founding principles were never fully actualized. But the principles themselves, what the founders imagined they were fighting for, still matter. And it's worth noting that simply by declaring commitment to the dignity and value of all, the people who came before us put themselves at risk, financially, legally, bodily. Cheney and his colleagues navigated those risks in remarkably creative ways, including what I like to think of as early crowdfunding. They printed appeals for donations in regional and abolitionist newspapers, and readers responded to those appeals, mailing in whatever they could. One 11-year-old wrote, "Mr. Cheney, I've just been reading your piece in the Star and thought I would send you my $1. It seems very small, but my sister says that the great ocean is made up of little drops." In another such appeal, Cheney described the vision this way: "Our plan is broad. We mean to found an institution for coming time, a college for coming times." Members of the class of 2029, it will, of course, be up to each of you to determine what you fight for, what the emancipating potential of this college and this education will mean for you over the course of your unique and precious life. I, and others both present and not present, will be in your corner as you do. For me, I'll just say the fight is not, and has never really been, a fight to preserve this or that received academic structure like regalia. Sort of like that 11-year-old letter writer. I imagine myself contributing to a place that does not yet exist. Education is the long game. The fight is for the world to come next. None of us can know what might prevail in that fight. Hope is not prognostication, Václav Havel insisted while in prison. It is an orientation of the spirit. But each act of commencing a new year offers us the collective opportunity to orient ourselves firmly in that spirit, propelled, as ever, by love of learning and a commitment to the wider world. Excuse me. And what a magnificent and exhilarating gift that is. Good luck this year. Thank you.
In gratitude for the life that fills our lungs with breath and connects this moment to all that is behind and before, I invite you to pause and take a breath, to feel your feet on the ground, to be here in this place, in this moment, to set down all you are carrying with you, expectations, fears, and the bits and pieces of who you have been. Let it all be. What you have collected is not who you are. It may tell you who you are, but that is a conversation, a dialogue within you that will ebb and flow and feel as familiar as a warm drink on a cold morning. In the push and pull, you can decide what you carry with you and what falls through your fingers. Take a breath, feel your feet on the ground. May this moment be an opening. Behind the din of daily clutter, your life is speaking to you about who you are. Listen well. May it be so.